What is up? We are live. This is Talking Touchdowns. The channel is Nuke the House. And Tyler, we had a winning day yesterday, but it's a sad day for me because I think the coach from Compton probably lost his chance to lose his job yesterday. But I'm sure most people aren't focused on the Raiders. They're focused on the two big games of the night. That's right. The Bills beat the Chiefs. Congratulations, Tyler. I took an L there. And then the Cowboys stomped the Eagles. And we took an L there. And Meg's going to be victory lapping that one on Thursday night. But Tyler, I'll start with you. Your overall thoughts for the majority of Week 14.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it went our way. I ate the victory lap that Bills won. I hope our guys got that 20-1 ticket in because don't look now, but they're 11-1 to win the AFC. One more win, they're going to be down to like 8-1. Another win after that, they're right up in those top four teams. So watch out for them. Seattle was able to get the cover home, even with Drew Lock under center, which was nice to see. Our Browns play got home, even though Trevor Lawrence, he looked like shit most of the game, but in the end, he made it a sweat. So a lot more points were scored in those games. Weather wasn't as much as a factor outside of the New York-Houston game. Like, we heard all this bad weather in the Ohio game. Cincy, Indy was pretty clear, and Cleveland's weather didn't look all that bad either. But, I mean, the Houston game, that was Zach Wilson showed up. He played well. Houston, C.J. Stroud, it's wild that he kind of looks like Bryce Young when you take away the really good receivers that he has. So, just a crazy sequence of events there. But it was a fun Sunday all around. Not fun for the Eagles, though. They got pounded again. Dak is the front runner for MVP now, down to plus 160. Hopefully it's got on those tickets that we talked about on FanSpeak when he was still around 10-1.
JC, your Dolphins didn't play yesterday. They play tonight. What are your thoughts on how the slate went yesterday? I know you had a great day betting.
Yeah, sure did. Honestly, I don't really know why we're doing today's show. I mean, honestly, everyone, you can just go back and watch Friday's show and what I said was going to happen. I mean, it pretty much just covers the slate. So,
it's good to see that success hasn't changed you, and you're still humble.
Not a bit. We could just jump into the Monday night games, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe you just want to hear me say the same things a different way. We can move along with the show.
All right. Well, please humor us, JC. Some people might have missed the show on Friday, and of course, we will do that. We will dive right in right now. The first game I want to talk about, the New Orleans Saints defeated the Panthers 28-6. The story of that game to me is really just the ineffectiveness of that Panthers offense. And I don't know what they do. We've talked before about not overreacting on these quarterbacks, but that was a tough scene for the Panthers yesterday. The Saints improved to 6-7. There's now a three-way tie in the NFC South, and I believe the Buccaneers have the tiebreak advantage as of right now. So I don't know. I don't know what to take of that game. I mean, they beat the worst team in the league. I mean, great job. I mean, at least they won, right? But what were your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, it's Week 14 spread. This is about that time where these kind of games just get balled up and thrown out, and we don't even talk about them on these shows. So I ain't got nothing.
All right, sounds good to me. JC, did you have anything you wanted to mention on that Tyler and I might have missed in our rush to actually talk about teams that matter?
No, not much. I would have just said like this game went as expected, but just based on the insanely crappy play that we've seen out of New Orleans in recent weeks, I don't think anyone wanted to touch it. But good for them not losing to the worst team in the league. The one thing I was thinking about today, because I'm thinking Zach Wilson and Justin Fields are going to need to find new homes this offseason. What are the odds Fields finds his way down to New Orleans?
It's New Orleans and Pittsburgh.
I don't know. Derek Carr has so much money on the contract for next year.
Which is why they're going to need someone kind of on the
cheap for next year.
You really think they're going to run it back with him?
He's $30 million. I mean, it's a huge cap hit.
It's guaranteed.
Sure. So I mean, so then you need kind of like, huh?
It's guaranteed money spread, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think so.
And then you can get off from the season after that. It was a 4-year deal, but the 2 years were guaranteed.
Yeah, they might just say
$30 million cap hit next year, and it'd be like a $1 million cap.
They might just say, "Here's your $30 million. Go home." Like,
yeah, I mean, I could see them running it back.
That's such a tough hit to overcome, though.
You get Fields on the cheap, and then he's kind of like just a younger Winston. Thought it could be a fit. Just thinking of possible places they'd go, felt like a possibility there.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I just think that they're stuck for one more year. Tyler, what do you think?
I mean, I could see it happening. They sent Derek Carr home for a year and then cut him in the next offseason. You trade a third round pick for Fields or something, and you really didn't lose all that much. You're kind of throwing away the season anyway. You're rebuilding. So what are you losing there in that 1 year of a $30 million cap hit? Nothing.
Yeah.
Especially since like Fields, it looks like maybe
the
there's something there. You
take
get him.
He's got to go for more than that, right?
I'd say second or third, somewhere in there.
I think it's going to be like he's not bad.
I think there's 3 to 4 teams that go for him. New Orleans.
I think
the Raiders.
It also greatly depends on how he finishes the season, right? He's looked good these past couple of weeks, but if he, I think his stock value could change drastically on how the rest of his season plays out.
Well, JC, you're just on fire because that was the perfect segue here as the Bears won 28-13. Lions only scored their points in the second quarter. They were shut out in the other 3. We talked about Jared Goff outdoors. Once again, that came home to roost. Fields did have 223 yards passing for a touchdown. Also ran for 58 yards and a touchdown. DJ Moore had another nice game here. I thought this was a really strong win for the Bears, and this is why you don't tank, and this is why people call for tanking. It's silly. I think this is great momentum that this team's building. So, okay, cool. Good for the Bears. I'm sure you guys agree with that. If you don't, go ahead and address it, but I'm pretty sure you do. Tyler, talk to me about the Lions, and that's what I'm going to ask you, JC, because that's the team that we really need to adjust our handicap for moving forward, because I think the Bears will be a tough out for the rest of the season. I believe we have them properly rated. But what do we do with this Lions ranking, Tyler? I don't want to overreact, but we talk about these losses and not necessarily that they lost, the manner in which they lost. It's got to be disheartening. This defense is not looking that good, and that could be an issue going forward. Do you think the offense is going to be potent enough? It's kind of slowed down here in these last couple of weeks.
Not looking that good is like a very, very nice way of saying it, because
I'm from California. I'm chill. I'm nice.
They have been absolute dog shit for like 4 weeks. They are bottom 5 in the league.
There's that Pennsylvania working class breakdown.
They do not look good. Goff looks like shit also. It's just they're falling down. Like, they peaked about week 10, 11, somewhere in there they peaked. And they've just been on a spiral downfall here on out. They probably hold on to win the division unless Green Bay makes some noise and steals it, but I don't really see it. But
Minnesota's still alive too.
Nah. Minnesota's dead. I mean, quarterback situations.
But they got to play each other twice. Lions still have 2 games with the Vikings.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They can catch them.
They can catch them, but I think Green Bay is more of a chance than Minnesota at this point. With the quarterback situation in Minnesota, you trust Nick Mullins, this Hall kid, or they're going to throw Josh Dobbs back out there? Justin Jefferson got hurt again yesterday, 1 game back. So I don't know. Could it happen? Maybe, but I think Green Bay's got a better shot.
Okay, so talk to me about our actual valuation of the Lions. How much do we downgrade them, or do we think they're going to go back to looking good once they're back inside?
No, I mean, well, maybe at home, but outside of being at home,
they're going to be inside for the rest of the season, I'm pretty sure. I think that's their last outdoor game of the year.
Against teams that have high-powered offenses that can score with them and a good defense that could slow them down, I would be on those teams. So bet them against the bad teams. The good teams, fade them.
All right. What do you think, JC? I think that
they
might be a little better than Tyler's giving them credit for.
They get a very interesting matchup this week with Denver. They're -4 against Denver at home. What do you want to do there?
Take Denver.
Yeah, I want to take Denver too.
I thought you were still is everyone still not on board with me about Denver? Lions are bad. I mean, it's the offense seems to have taken a little bit of a step back. Goff isn't playing as well. This defense, man, I mean, the teams they're matching up against has given you everything you need to see, right? There's no excuse for it. You can't say, they're playing top offenses. Like, the number there, what they've allowed to the Bears, they allowed 28 to the Bears and the Saints. Like, that says it all. I think this division is completely up for grabs. And honestly, the Bears, I don't want to count them out of the playoffs, right? I mean, not going to be placing any wagers. Crazier things have happened. They have an easy schedule. They kind of control their own destiny if they want to make a run of things. it's just ugly. It's really sad to see in Detroit. You really hope Campbell kind of pull things together, but this point where we are in the season, it's over for them. At best, you do find your way
it's
into
not
the playoffs.
okay. No, stop. Okay, stop.
I mean, they probably will still find their way.
Tyler, when does that Ragnow guy come back? That wasn't a season-ending injury, right?
I mean, he could be back. He could be out in a couple, like back in a few weeks. But we'll see.
Okay, so that's huge for them. We knew they were going to suck outdoors. We knew that. So I mean, I think this is still a good team with a good offense. I think that they're just beat up. And Tyler, you talked about and I don't even know how this didn't end up on the sheet because I should have came back to you because we marinated. Remember, and I made that E40 joke and nobody knew it because I'm so old. But that should have on the sheet. We knew they were going to struggle outdoors. I think this team gets back indoors. I think they get some of their mojo back. This is a track team, a dome team, and I don't want to overreact too much to this. But we'll come back to this on Friday.
But that's what I'm saying.
I was going to say on the bright side for the Lions, outside of one of their division foes catching them for that division title, they can't fall any farther in the standings because the NFC South team ain't catching them.
Right. No,
so
for sure.
Locked
so, I mean, two things. First off, spread. I mean, we talk, how many weeks in a row are we going to say don't overreact to a Lions, whatever? Eventually, we got to react. And so I just feel like so many weeks now we've been like, don't overreact. Well, I think it's time to react. And it's that this team, seeing that they could possibly match up with Philly in the first round. I agree with Tyler, right? I mean, they should be good for the 3 seed, but I think they're going to be rocked in the first round of the playoffs.
Okay, and I agree with you, but for the sake of these questions, how do we rate these teams for the rest of the regular season? We have how many weeks left? We have week 15. So what? We have
4 games left, I think.
4 solid weeks of football left. So let's keep. Well, I know they're not a playoff team. We've known that for a while. In my mind, when everyone was saying, "Mate, we're going to win the NFC," I'm like, "You got to be crazy," because I just didn't think that defense was there. And who knows? These teams continue to get injured, but.
Are we talking about the Lions? Because I may fade them all 4 games.
Okay. We'll go back to that on Friday. So JC's downgrading them a lot. Tyler's downgrading them a little. And I'm saying as soon as Ragnow comes back, I'm ready to start betting this team again.
Oh, that'd be great. They're a fun team. I'd love that for them. The city of Detroit needs it, but from what I've seen.
JC, in a day full of W's yesterday, you did hold 1 L. And that was the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud only threw for 91 yards. He got a concussion in the process. Zach Wilson, 301 yards, 2 TDs. Okay. We'll give you guys your props. Who was the guy saying Zach Wilson should have never been benched? This guy right here.
Yeah.
I said that. Why did you put Tim Boyle in there? He couldn't even win in college. Like this kid, Zach Wilson at least has like NFL level ability. The problem is he's got like high school level approach towards the game, right? I mean, I don't think he's a hard worker. I think he gets discouraged easily, and obviously he doesn't have the trust of his teammates. But this just shows throwing these quarterbacks under the bus, unless you have a better option, doesn't work. Congratulations to the Jets. I mean, they're not out of it yet. They're 5-8 here. Your thoughts, JC, on both teams? I mean, I'm assuming Stroud's going to be back next week. If he's not, that team's in trouble. Tyler was even messaging with us, because Collins went down during the game, and Tyler wrote to you and I and said, now this team has no weapons. And especially against those 2 good corners that they were facing. What do you think of the Texans and the Jets? I'll start with you, JC, because I know that you had to be introspective, right? On a day full of success, this was the one that kind of caught you in the gut.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about this one a lot. I texted you guys. I was like, man, I don't feel good about this one. I was too deep. I'm not going to flip on it because ain't nothing worse than flipping on a take and then the original take being right. So I was like, I was going to write it out, but it just, something about it stank. I don't really know what to make of the Jets, right? Like, I think they caught the Texans in a good spot. They were kind of, everything was kind of falling apart for them. So I think they had a good moment. And I think Zach Wilson kind of had an FU moment to the team and the organization of I can ball. I don't think it's still an overall good outlook for the Jets. I don't think anything really changes for them. He had an incredible game. Don't think he can really, I don't think he can continually replicate that. He might have one or two more good games, but he's still just a mediocre quarterback. I think he could be a great backup. Maybe catch him backing up Levis in Tennessee next season. But it's still just, I mean, I don't think much changes for the Jets after this game. As for the Texans,
I think you got to upgrade them. I think there's got to be a nice little feeling in the locker room. And when you're winning, I think it's easy to maybe forgive some bygones be bygones with some of that tension in the locker room. Tyler, what did you think of that game? Both teams' perspectives.
Based on what we've seen from Zach Wilson, he doesn't really seem like the type of guy to just let it go.
All right. I won't make that stupid Frozen joke I make all the time. Tyler, how do we adjust with both teams? I thought this was an instructive game, and this was one of the I'm really interested to see what we do with these teams moving forward. I'm over here saying don't overreact, but should we?
No. I mean, They were playing in a monsoon on top of Houston losing all their weapons. So, like, they weren't going to move the ball anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take much from that game. I mean, Zach Wilson looked good. Kudos to him. But, like, I'm not going to upgrade the Jets and, like, trying to run and bet them every week now. They're still the Jets. He could still shit the bed at any moment. Once the guys come back for Houston, they can go right back to looking like the team they were. So I don't take much from that game at all.
Okay.
The other thing, too, is based on where they're at, I don't think there's any, like, it's not like they can make a playoff push, right?
Yeah, like the Jets can't push anywhere. So it's like, I don't see them coming roaring up the standings. They can't make the playoffs.
Right.
I know, but we have 4 more opportunities to bet them, and I'm trying to figure out whether they're going to be bet on, bet against, or neutral. So
I don't think, I don't feel any different about them than I did last week.
Yeah, that game did nothing for me, especially because of the weather and injuries.
My only counter there is they should be playing weather for the rest of the year. So
that kind of weather, though.
Yeah, that's a factor you
I
bring
don't
in every
know.
week.
I'm not a meteorologist.
I mean, that was like torrential downpours with like 20-mile-an-hour winds with gusts up to 40 miles
climate
an hour.
change.
You ain't getting weather
Wilson
like
still
that
had
in
like
every
300
game.
yards, so I mean,
bro, it's fall here right now. It's so crazy. It's December 11th, and my trees are like finally losing it. You can't tell me climate change. All right, the Bengals are 34-14. They improved to 7-6. My guy Jake Browning looked pretty good. Tyler, you talked about, hey, it's easy to throw it to those guys, but we're not talking about him in a vacuum. We're talking about him as the quarterback of the high-powered Cincinnati Bengals offense, and I thought he did his job. That was a fairly easy win, and I talked about wanting to fade some dome teams outdoors. I think, if that game had been played in Indy, I think it would have been a lot different. But outside in the cold weather, Cincinnati looked great. I'm high on the Bengals. I'm ready to keep betting on them. What do you think, JC?
yeah, no, I mean, it's they just needed someone serviceable, right? Like they're still a really good team. They got a lot of talent, and I think everyone thought Browning was a nobody, but him showing he's got competent play kind of shows this team's not dead. They're playing in a conference that has quite a few playoff slots open, so they're making a push. And yeah, I think definitely a little bit of rejuvenation, rebirth, and I'm definitely gonna upgrade the Brownings Browning and the Bengals after this week.
All right, what do you think, Tyler?
I give Browning a slight upgrade, not anything super crazy. Watching the game, I mean, it wasn't like he diced up the entire defense. I will give him credit; he spread the ball out a lot. He didn't just pelt Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and these guys, but like Chase Brown's touchdowns, for instance, was a screen that was taken 80 yards. The running back did all the work there. Every receiver not every receiver, 3 of the 4 top guys had long catches over 50 yards. So a lot of this was done after the catch with these guys, but that's what he's going to have to do with these weapons, get the ball to these guys and let them make their moves. When you play the Colts with their bad defense, he was able to do that. They were able to pound one in with Mixon too, and he was able to even run one in. So they'll make some noise in the end, but I think he still is going to show some reasons why he was a backup for so many years, and in the end, they still miss out on the playoffs.
I do not. I'm high on the Bengals. I think he's going to lead the way here, and I think it just goes to show how much the system matters for these teams, and you got to put these guys in a position to succeed, and I think he's in a position to succeed. I also think he learned from his earlier mistakes, and I think he's actually devoting himself to football now. I'm high on the Bengals, as we've seen so many of these other top teams show some flaws. And so I thought that was an excellent game for Cincinnati. Another team here, Browns are 8-5 now, Tyler. This team's 8-5. Joe Flacco does not lose in that building. 311 yards, 3 touchdowns. They made us sweat there at the end, though, Tyler, with that 2-point conversion. Boy, I was sweating that one out. Trevor Lawrence was out there, 257 and 3. I didn't know he had an ankle injury. I didn't really see it. Maybe that's because that's how good that Browns defense really is. But boy, if the Browns were able to play at home, they'd have a chance to do things. I think they're going to be on the road if they do make the playoffs, though. Tyler, talk to me about what you saw when Cleveland. That was our closest game. All the other ones were easy winners in the morning. That was our closest one. What did you think of that game?
Yeah, I was not expecting us to get 58 points in that matchup. I thought that was going to be a lot lower scoring game. Trevor Lawrence, I'm pretty sure if you smacked him across the face with a baseball bat yesterday, he wouldn't have felt it because that's how many painkillers he was on with that high ankle sprain. I was worried we were going to get like a mythical quarterback performance like when Mahomes was in the Super Bowl with his ankle. But we didn't. In the end, the defense prevailed. Whoever in that Browns room raised their hand and said, Flacco never loses here. We can make this his home stadium. We should probably go sign him was a great idea because they might have defied logic and now they're just going to win all their home games. Of the 3 teams in the wild card spots in the AFC right now, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Colts, I think the Browns are the only one of those 3 that hold their spots. I think the Browns hold it.
I also think they're the team that the other teams wouldn't want to play the most, right?
Yeah,
because that defense.
Well, I agree as of right now with the 3 teams in, but the way I predict that wild card finishing out would be Browns at 5, Broncos 6, Bills 7. And at that point, I don't think you want any of them.
Okay. Anything more from that game before I move on?
Nope, that's pretty much it for me.
All right. What an exciting game was the Baltimore Ravens winning in overtime against the Los Angeles Rams. You got to give the Rams credit here. That offense looks great. When they can run the ball, Sean McVay's offense is on point. And Kyron Williams had 114 yards on the ground and looked great against what I consider to be a solid Ravens defense. Lamar Jackson, to me, that was an MVP type of game. He made so many plays happen where the Rams rushers were so close to getting him down, and maybe him, Fields, and 2 other quarterbacks are the only ones getting out of that pass rush. I know that Rams defense had to be frustrated going against the player of Jackson's caliber, and with some of these other players, kind of falling out, I think Lamar is alive in that MVP race again. So it was a great win for the Ravens, and they have to be excited to see Odell Beckham have a big day. Tyler, what did you think of Baltimore getting the win?
Yeah, it was a good game. It was a lot closer than I expected the game to be. I thought they were honestly going to pound the Rams. Stafford looked a lot better.
Yeah, I did too.
I think it was because of them being able to run the ball. But in the end, even when they got to overtime, it was like, I still think Baltimore's going to prevail in this game. They'll still find a way to win. I didn't think they were going to win it on a punt return, walk-off touchdown like that. I thought they would eventually drive down. Tucker would kick the field goal, and they'd end it up 3. They wouldn't have covered either way because it ended up 7.5. But in the end, they hold the 1 seed in the AFC. But this team there's times where you watch them play. Like even yesterday, you're watching them play. It's like, how's this team the 1 seed in the AFC? Like they have times where they just don't look like they're a good football team. I'm still not 100% sold on them. Their receivers, like Zay Flowers, when he catches the ball and has the ball in his hands, he looks great. But there's times you watch him try and catch the ball, it looks like it explodes off his hands. Bateman's useless. Beckham's touchdown or bust. Mark Andrews ain't coming back and likely had his first big play all season yesterday, but he had to be wide open off a wheel route. So their offense got like 1 or 2 guys. It really all comes down to Lamar. They're going to be weird in the playoffs. I don't trust them.
My counter to that is, who do you trust in the AFC? Do you see my point?
Yeah.
Because all these top teams paid their quarterback. I was talking to my buddy on the phone earlier, and we were talking about Philadelphia. And just, when you pay that quarterback, you lose some depth pieces. Don't really seem like that big a deal, right? Hargrave went to the Niners. I think we grabbed one of their safety apps, and they've had some injuries as well. But with all these top teams in the AFC paying all that quarterback money, all these teams have holes. And that's why I think Baltimore is in a great situation this season to take advantage of it. JC, what do you think?
I think there's one team that's pretty well stacked and staffed in the AFC, but we'll get to them later.
I mean,
Give me a break, dude. They have no playoff pedigree. They have arguably the worst quarterback of all the top teams. That we don't know how they're going to play outdoors in the cold. They're not like a clear favorite. Like the 49ers are the clear best team in the NFC. Yeah, Miami 100%. Is not the clear best team in the AFC. Please break down the Baltimore Ravens. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was. I mean, we kind of talked about it. I talked about it on Friday. Just that, like, it seemed like a solid spread for the Rams. Like, it was definitely. I felt like it was going to be a relatively close game. I did not feel Baltimore blowout there, but I stayed off it due to the Ravens' record against the NFC teams. But man, my biggest takeaway is just that the Rams are scrappy. They're just a team. They got a great quarterback, and in a conference that's so weak. Like, they could really make some noise. I mean, because once you get past, I mean, the NFC East is such a mess right now. Kind of hard to rank them. But, I mean, you know, outside San Francisco, I don't know who's going to be playing them in the NFC Championship game. And wouldn't be surprised to see the Rams make a little bit of a run. They just got mocked.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to, though. It's 6-7. It might be hard for them to get there, but you have to credit them for having great coaching, and I think
they also have a straight-up loss to the Packers, which could hold them out of the playoffs in the end.
Yeah, I think it's
for sure. But I mean, to finish,
but
I mean, yeah, because you got to go through the Niners. They got the Commanders, the Saints, the Giants, and then the Niners. Which that Niners is last week.
I guess their hope is that the Niners are like on full rest mode at that point, right?
Right. So quite possible. And the Ravens, they look good. Yeah, bad little fourth quarter performance, but at the end of the day, winning's winning. So no kind of status quo for the Ravens. Except, I mean, definitely worth mentioning that they were able to do that without Andrews. And I know that was definitely a bit of a question mark, but definitely impressive to see that, and maybe gives them slight notch up to show they got more than just a tight end.
All right. Let's keep breaking down these games. The next one on the docket. Boy, JC, you got the win here, but you have to admit this one could have gone either way with the Buccaneers and the Falcons. We got the over. That was fun. That was nice. Buccaneers got the win, and I want to thank you. We talked about keeping me off a win. That I would have lost a game in the morning. Do you know how depressed I would have been if I was 4-1? But instead, I was 4-0. Thanks to you. Break down what you saw as Baker Mayfield and the Fighting Buccaneers overcame the Atlanta Falcons.
Man, that was a weird one. So, in the morning slate, I was just watching the score. I wasn't watching the game. Tampa Bay takes the lead. They're holding it. I'm like, oof, easy win. And then I got no clue what happened in the fourth quarter. Like, Atlanta came storming back. They made it interesting. And I'm like, Tampa Bay's got this. Baker, incredible. A 2-minute drive there to end the game. Got a little worried when they went 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. But he sacked up, got the job done. Super nervous too that Ritter was able to drive to 1st and goal in 30 seconds. So it was a tight one, but really takeaway is just how gross this division is, and that none of these teams are better than any other. And it's a real shame that we're going to have to watch one of them play in the playoffs. That was my biggest takeaway.
All right. Jason, Tyler, what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good game for Tampa. We got the over home. It was good for fantasy. And, I mean, it's what we expect Tampa and Atlanta games to look like. You never know what's going to happen. There's going to be points scored. And in the end, Tampa was able to prevail. So, think they're going to hold on to win the division. I think they're the best of those 4 teams. Yeah. But
if we got to watch someone, I definitely think Baker and the Buccaneers kind of but yeah.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you too. Tyler, I think the 49ers are the best team in football right now. Go ahead, break down that game and throw it to JC. I'll be
I take it we're talking about the 49ers in the Seattle game.
Yep.
But because he went 49ers are the best team, break down this game, I'm out of here. But yeah, they looked good. Debo had another big game. I think that's like 4 out of his last 6 games against Seattle. He's put up over 100 yards and a touchdown. They look good. They're just going to keep chugging along. It's all going to come down to their head coach's problems in the playoffs, which is a known thing. So if he can navigate the playoffs and not make mistakes, they're going to be a very, very tough out in the end. So watch out for them. But it always comes down to the Kyle Shanahan mistakes in the end. So interested to see that. What do you think about that, JC?
Yeah, no, man. It was so I did sprinkle that money line. I got a little excited in the first half. I thought we might get there. And then I was sweating by the end that we were going to have a cover. San Francisco looked great, man. They just continue to dominate. And I think what that team has going for them is that they are beating teams so badly that I don't think hopefully their coach will have an opportunity to.
How many more of these other, because they dealt with the quick 3-week span where it was like, all right, you lost Debo, Trent, and CMC was banged up. Mm-hmm. But now as they've played the last couple of weeks, I swear just bodies have been dropping. You seen Greenlaw hit the ground yesterday. You seen a couple of the DBs hit the ground yesterday. A couple guys on offense even had to sit out. At what point is it all right, well, now it's the 5 guys and nobody. We're ran so thin. I could see that happening. The injuries come back the other way and bite them. But we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, definitely tough for them that they are fighting for this 1 seed, right? Because if they had any kind of a lead, you might be able to be a little conservative to close out the season. But I mean, that bye and home field advantage is going to be crucial. So definitely tough decisions are going to have to be made as they try to stay healthy as the playoffs roll around.
Did you guys do any other games, or did you guys just do Niners Seahawks?
No, I just finished up.
Niners game.
All right. Please indulge me, guys, here just for 2 minutes and let me vent and rant.
Please.
Yesterday cost the coach from Compton his job. We didn't score any points. We held a team to 3 points. I can't remember the last time that happened. I think it was Lyle Alzado was on the defense. That's how long it was. Look up Lyle Alzado. He was badass. And we couldn't score a point. And it sucks because I do not want to rebuild. That means we got to bring in a new coach. We're going to get rid of all the players that I like. We're going to start all over. I finally see this defense going well. I think Patrick Graham is a fantastic defensive coordinator, and we're going to end up losing it all because we couldn't just score 6 points. We couldn't even get a field goal. All right, Tyler, I'm done.
I mean,
go ahead. Tell me what you saw. Oh, let me guess. You didn't watch it because you have class. You have standards. But I watched that game, Tyler.
No, it was on my screen. It was in the 3 box, but it didn't catch my eye a lot because there was no eye-popping plays. Every time I looked down, they were punting the ball or something. They just weren't doing much.
I mean, some solid fundamental tackling. They were wrapping up.
They lost the game. They didn't score any points, but I really don't think that's 100% Pierce's fault. The quarterback
not at all. That's what pisses me off.
Your quarterback is an absolute trash can.
Yeah, I mean, what's he supposed to do? Even the OC, there was guys open. He just couldn't get him the ball.
Yeah, he sucks. He sucked from the jump. He played one good series against the Chargers defense, and everyone was ready to just anoint him the starting quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he's giving me Matt McGloin all over again. He's going to be great preseason. And
if they would have put Jimmy G back in yesterday, they'd have scored.
I know.
So he should have been on the field. But now they're going to have to play the game of, do we draft somebody? Do we trade for Fields / Mac Jones or one of these other guys? That's all they need to do is trade for a quarterback. You don't need a full rebuild. Your defense held the team to 3 points. Your defense did their job. You need a quarterback. That's it. If this was one of the years where there was an older vet quarterback that was on his way out of a team that's going into rebuild mode where he's looks around league, where do I want to go so I can win now? It'd probably be the Raiders. Defense is good. He walks into Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. He's getting weapons. I could see that being, where else would he go?
I don't know, but that
Who?
kind of feels like Favre to
I'm
the
saying
Jets
if there was
Like,
a
it
Brady
seemed-
situation where it's like Brady's out of New England, he's looking for his new home, looks around NFL right now, which jobs could I take that don't have a quarterback, and I'm not going to have to go in and like kick the young guy to the bench. The Raiders
Yeah.
are spot A.
No, it does. It feels more like a Favre to New York situation than a Brady to Tampa Bay. Like, I
Well,
don't think
yeah.
they're quite there, but I could
Who
see
do you
someone
want?
thinking
I'm
it.
sorry.
I'm just saying if there was just a vet quarterback out there spread, like in the Tom Brady situation where he's leaving New England, he needs a
I
new
just don't
title
think there
contender.
is.
No, he's saying there's not.
I'm giving it. Yeah, you weren't listening to the whole breakdown. You were somewhere else.
Bro, because I'm depressed. We're going to fire. My defense finally looks good. And he's going to get blamed for a personnel decision.
I think you have too many feelings involved in it. That's what I think.
Bro, it's been a terrible weekend. I don't even want to talk about Saturday. Vikings, what do we make of this team? They're 7-6.
Yeah.
They probably make the playoffs, and it's like I don't change anything I thought about them before. They make the playoffs, they lose in the first round. That's it.
You think they do though?
I mean, unless they drop, they could drop out for the Rams or Seattle. Those are the only two teams. It's a 4-way race.
I think both those teams are better than the Vikings.
I think so too, but you'd have to break down schedules at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do that by Friday. We weren't prepared to do that today. Just too depressed over that. Tyler, of course, everybody's talking about the Bills and the Chiefs. My take on what's up? What did I do?
I have a lot to say about this game.
The Bills and the Chiefs, or did I forget you on Vikings?
No, you forgot about me again.
Please forgive me. Tyler can host from here on out.
So, for starters, just right off the bat, I just got to say, boy, can I pick unders.
Yeah, you can.
Second week in a row, I've getting out an under that ended up with points in the single digits. So, y'all are welcome. It was hilarious watching the score on this one because it's like first quarter, no points. Great. Second quarter, no points. Okay, we're home free. And then it just, was this. Fun stat for you. Since 2008, this is the 258th time a team has scored 3 points or less. Any guesses how many times in those 258 that team has won?
This was the first time.
This was the first time. How about that? And that's a wild stat. Anyways, because I think what's really important here when talking about the Vikings is this defense, right? Like, I mean, I know this wasn't an electric offense they shut down, but Flores has this defense keeping this team relevant and giving them a shot at the playoffs. So while they got huge problems on the offense, I don't know if there's a chance Hall comes back. If they can figure something out, like they can make a playoff push. So it's not likely, but I definitely don't think they should be written off given how they're playing. And for spread, I just got to give you my condolences because this feels exactly like when Dan Campbell took over the Dolphins. Like interim situation, dog shit team, but he's got that locker room right.
Well, here's the thing, though. I don't think the team is bad. You just don't have a quarterback.
Right. It's a crappy situation that he's making decent, right? Like you're clearly seeing results. Those results just aren't winning. And the crappy thing is you're probably right, especially because you got a crazy owner. He's going to kick him to the curb, and then he's going to go somewhere else. And I'll bet you 5 years from now, he's going to be a hell of a head coach for a different organization. So I think so do feel for you. Luckily, Miami's got the greatest head coach in football history. But if we didn't, I would hate to have to watch Campbell do what he's doing in Detroit.
You've never heard of Bill Walsh? I mean, you got to be kidding me. Guy's not even going to make it. All right, Tyler.
Also, Bill, like, what? Of all the guys you could have went with Bill Walsh?
Who do you think? Who are your top 5 coaches of all time?
Oh, 5, I don't know. But if we did 3, I would say Belichick, Vince Lombardi, Ditka, and number 1 has got to be Don Shula. Why is that funny? It's like the winningest coach in football history, undefeated season.
I don't know if he's got to be, but okay, yeah, Don Chilla's in my top 5 as well.
Yeah, I don't know who I'd round out my 5 though.
Bill Walsh has to be in there though.
I don't know, man. It might have to go someone kind of current.
What are you talking about?
Or more current.
He invented the West Coast offense. He invented what, like 22 of the 32 teams run today.
That's cool, but like
he won hella Super Bowls. Like, what do you need the guy to do?
And who do you win the Super Bowls? I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that argument. I hate that when people say that.
What?
Who do you win them with? But that's just, especially in football, like you're not going to win with
nobody. Who won with bad players? I mean,
right, exactly.
You have to have good players to win.
Yeah.
All right, here's my take on the Chiefs game. I don't want to spend too long on this. I'm pissed that I lost the bet. And I think that Patrick Mahomes' frustrations yesterday is just realizing that they have everything but the receivers. And that Tyreek Hill trade, I think he knows if we didn't trade him, I could be winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. We would be kicking everybody's butt. And instead, right, we tried to go cheap, and we thought that we were going to find these guys in the other rounds, and they're simply not it. You got a guy that can't even line up. Bro, how can you complain about that call? It's not a subjective call. He's either over the line or he's not. Yeah. There's a million subjective calls, and I was on the Chiefs. I wanted him to be right. I wanted to be able to come here on this show and say that the Chiefs got job, but they didn't get job. They got the Lakers treatment the whole first half, and then they had one bad call go against them, and Mahomes broke down like LeBron did against the Celtics because he's so used to having every single advantage that once a bad call goes against him, he doesn't know how to handle it. Just like LeBron flying around the floor against the Celtics last year, like he hasn't had the benefits for the calls for his whole career. So it's really too bad for the Chiefs because he's my favorite quarterback to watch play, and they've done a disservice with the people that they put around them. Let's go ahead and give the Bills credit. That was a tough situation, but it showed once again why Tyler doesn't necessarily believe in Josh Allen because they should have won that game easily. He made a lot of mistakes in the second half to let Kansas City back into that game. And I think if Allen is to be the player that he hopes to be, he's got to step on their throat there. And that game should have looked like the Cowboys-Eagles game in my mind. I'm done. Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, I think you pretty much summed it up well. Like, I was kind of hoping I was going to get the little argument where it's like they got screwed. It's like, well, the dude can't.
They didn't look at the freaking picture.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like
subjective.
The best is the picture of it where he's like ahead of the line, and it's like, bro, you didn't like look to your right and realize that like I'm ahead of these guys, and like the fact that like it took away such a highlight play from Travis.
It did, and I think that's what's got to be frustrating. That was so badass
when he threw it back, and it was like, oh, Tony's by himself, and he's going in the end zone. It was like, I'm going to lose this bet because of a lateral touchdown 30 yards down the field. Probably the first time that's ever happened like that. And to see the flag come out, I was like, this is definitely going to be like defensive holding or something. There's no way this is coming back. And then to call offsides on the guy that ended up in the end zone was just a heartbreaker. And yeah, Mahomes looked like a sore loser crying about it. I feel like in the moment, you're all frustrated, terrible call. Once he got to the back and seen that picture.
No, because he was complaining in the post game too. It wasn't just on the field. He was acting like a baby. He acted like a baby everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, give him a day to calm down after the game. Once he sees it, I feel like maybe he's like, all right, I was a bit overboard.
I think the frustration is like you got rid of Tyreek Hill for guys.
Oh, there's definitely frustration there because
you can't even line up.
If they didn't get rid of him, is the Chiefs Niners like matchup in the Super Bowl like plus 200 right now?
Yeah.
This would be Warriors Cavs NFL version for the next 3 to 4 years
until they pay Purdy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
JC, what did you think of the game? I mean, it was a fun, exciting game. If Tony could have lined up, that would have been an all-timer for the highlight. But
no, I mean, I'm right there with you. Like I was on the Chiefs, and I'm still like I don't know what everyone's complaining about. Like, and I think the funniest part too about Mahomes complaining about it, he's not even saying like it wasn't a penalty. He's just mad that they called the penalty. So like I don't know what we're complaining about here. You hate to see it.
My favorite part
even
about
let
this
it be that
entire
close.
thing
Huh?
was my favorite part of this entire thing was the quote from the referee about it. He says, "No warning is required, especially if they are lined up so far off sides that we can't even see the ball."
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, it was, I don't know. It wasn't like, hurry up. Like the receiver just got up there. Like he had all day to realize how far off sides he was. So I thought it was just ridiculous. I completely agree with Fred, what you said about Tyreek. I mean, Hill even said, that's the second most accurate quarterback in the league. And so I know he's missing him, but I know Hill's happy where he's at, teamed up with the most accurate quarterback in the league.
Oh my dude, will you stop?
It's hey, that's not no. I'm not saying that. Tyreek Hill is saying that. That's not mine.
Of course he's saying that. That's like, okay.
So it's tough. Tough scenes. I definitely think that's probably something the Chiefs will have to address in the offseason. I don't know. It'll be really interesting. I mean, you got to figure they're going to turn it to another gear when they reach the playoffs. But based on teams around them and just what we've seen, Chiefs might not win a game in the playoffs this year. And then it's crazy to think about.
I think they will. All these other teams have so many flaws.
I mean, sure, but I'm just saying, like, it's possible just because the Chiefs are not proving to be the juggernaut they've been for like the last, 5 years.
Yeah, that's possible. And they're right. Have they ever done a road playoff game? Anything more on that one, guys? I mean, what do we do with the Bills here?
What's our outlook
I've
on
always
Buffalo?
said that they're pretty good.
They're going to fight their ass off and fight for that playoff spot. And you bet them until the end of the year and they can't lose. They could lose one game. If they lose 2 games, they're completely out of the playoff picture. So their backs are against the wall.
It's funny. I think the 4 teams that are currently outside are far better than the I guess it's just 2 teams because I think the Browns deserve to be there. But yeah, the Steelers and Colts do not deserve to be in the playoffs. When you got Houston, Denver, Cincinnati, and Buffalo on the outside looking in.
And Buffalo might not even be able to take that one loss because they lost to Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Denver. Those are tiebreakers that could come back and haunt you if you take one loss and those teams take one loss. So you might need to win out here.
I think they do. Yeah.
All right, JC, you were all over the Denver Broncos, and that was the correct call. Of course, you were aided by an injury to Justin Herbert, and we need to keep that in mind going forward. I think that most likely he'll be out for the rest of the season, but what do I know? I didn't think Trevor Lawrence was going to play on Sunday. Easton Stick came in. Did he go to UW? Tyler, should I be rooting for him?
I don't know where he went.
I'm going to look that up.
I think he is.
If so, I mean, I got to be rooting for that guy. Talk to me about that game, though, Tyler. Broncos are now 7-6, and how bad did they look at the beginning of the season? This team is coming together. They're well coached, and if Peyton can keep Wilson from making mistakes, I think the defense and the run game are good enough for this team to make the playoffs. What do you think?
He went
to NDSU. Thank you, Clyde. Cool. I don't have to root for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to sneak into one of these wild card spots. They look like a good team. The defense has come around. The offense picked it up. Cortland Sutton's looked really good. Jerry Jeudy, if he can learn how to catch the ball downfield, is going to stretch the field for them also. He dropped a couple not wide open ones, but deep balls that he just couldn't get underneath. They're going to be a problem when they get in the playoffs. It's a Sean Payton-led team. They don't score a ton of points, but they just get enough to get the job done in the end. They rely on their defense and the run game, so they'll be a problem for the rest of the year.
JC, what did you think of that game?
I mean, it went exactly as I said it was going to. The Broncos are.
You said that Justin Herbert was going to get hurt. I missed that part.
Look, I keep my predictions to 1 injury a week. Okay, I don't go crazy. I got the one.
Good answer, JC. Good answer.
Thank you. No, I think Denver's going to win out. I think they're going to be in the playoffs. What happens there? Tough to say, but who wants to go up against Sean Payton and Russell Wilson in the playoffs? This team, I don't really get it. I don't know how they've had such a drastic turnaround, but the end of the day, they're winning games, and that's all that matters.
I don't think it's that crazy. I mean, they have one of the best coaches in the NFL, right?
Right, but I mean,
Would you
they
guys
were
agree?
just horrid. They were putrid at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you get a new coach.
Yeah, but
takes
they're
some
also,
time.
I mean, sure, but it's also like they're not, it's just like they're just winning, right? Like, it's not like, I mean,
the
there's nothing-
defense has got to be, just talent-wise, from like a GM perspective, they got to be at least middle of the pack, right? Just for the pieces on the defense. It's the same thing with the offensive line, and the weapons are solid. I mean, it's like they're kind of middle of
even
the
on the
pack
offensive
everywhere
side,
with an elite coach, and that seems to win.
yeah. And it's just like on the offensive side, like everyone's just doing their job. There's no one who's just turned it on. It's not like Russell Wilson is lighting the world up. Like everyone's just doing what they need to do to win. And that's real dangerous.
Yeah, I agree there. So, as a Raiders fan, it's really hard because I feel like this could have been us just with a couple things going a little bit different as our defense is finally starting to come together. But the Broncos do have Russell Wilson, and he's the difference there because he's able to at least make that team somewhat movable on offense. And you got to give their defense credit. Now, they essentially shut the Chargers out. They got that one drive towards the end, but I think that was kind of a prevent style drive. Let's talk about the game that decided the NFC East, most likely could have decided the MVP race. And boy, I have to take an L there, Tyler. We were big on the Eagles. We thought this was an excellent bounce back spot. We didn't think that Dallas could get it done in a high pressure situation. But looking at it, and of course, hindsight is 2020. But as I take my L and I look at what I got wrong here, Meg's harped on it all season. The loss of those coordinators has hurt. The loss of the depth has hurt. Having to pay hurts. They've lost a couple players. And I also think that they're just beat up. And this is what happens when you have those extended runs. Just the wear and tear on the body might be too much for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not ready to count them out yet because I do believe they can get healthy and they've shown they can get it done. But Dallas made a huge statement, not in the fact that they won, right? They didn't escape it. We're not complaining about officials' call on this game, right? CeeDee Lamb could have lined up 5 yards ahead of the sticks, and Dallas was still winning this game here. Impressive win by the Cowboys. Tyler, we took the L. What do we take away? We can talk about our own introspection as we wonder, how did we get this game so wrong?
No, I mean, the Eagles' secondary is just Swiss cheese. I thought maybe they'd be able to get it together and just CeeDee Lamb would go off, but all those guys ate again. Cooks had a big play, should have had a touchdown, fell on the one. Gallup had a touchdown. Ferguson was wide open all game. That's the biggest thing is their defense has just turned into a below average unit. They still have the pass rushers, but just everything else is falling off a cliff.
Yeah, really, if they don't get pressure,
I'm not going to say that game fully decided the NFC East race because it's still the Cowboys. Like, I think they lose this week to Buffalo, so they lose, the Eagles win. It's like, well, the Eagles jump right back up to the 2 spot. So
Eagles got to go to Seattle though. That's not going to be an easy game.
It's not an easy game, but I think it's a lot easier than what they just dealt with.
Yeah, what do you guys think of that one? Seattle's catching 4 at home.
And I think that's the Eagles finally, like, we look across the field, it's like, this is our spot. We can, like,
just think about that travel, though.
They're a 4-point dog.
You go all the way up to Seattle.
Seattle's the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
JC, what did you think of the demise of the Eagles short dynasty?
Yeah, I was really something. I mean, that was another game kind of going into it. I wasn't loving my bet, but I thought, I got 3.5. Like, it should be good. Certainly did not expect a blowout. And we saw just a terrible performance from the Eagles, and the Cowboys just looked incredible. They might finally be putting it together at the right time. I mean, that's kind of been the storyline for Dallas for years is they look great in the regular season. Things fall apart in December, but they might be peaking at the right time. And looking at their schedules, I definitely don't think this division is locked up. Dallas got a tough couple games. Philly has a very easy schedule after the Seahawks. And it's going to be huge because likely the way it's going to shake out, I mean, almost guaranteed, is whoever gets the wild card spot is going to have to go through San Francisco and the winner of the NFC East. And I don't see either team being able to overcome that. So, I mean, winning this division is going to be huge, huge, huge. And good for Dallas. I mean, putting themselves in a place to win that division.
Yeah, I got to take my L there. Prescott looked great. I thought that he was going to turn into a pumpkin, and he did not. Jalen Hurts is banged up, but we're also starting to see some of the limitations that caused people to be skeptical about him coming out of Alabama or Oklahoma. All right, let's dive into tonight, guys. Let's start with the Packers and the Giants. That way JC can have plenty of time for the last game. The Giants are, +6 right now at home.
Yep.
They're taking on Green Bay. The total here is 37. Tyler, I don't have a strong feeling on this game. I'm not necessarily excited to get involved. What do you think about it? Am I leaving money on the table? How are you approaching this game?
No, I mean, I think Green Bay wins it. I think it's going to be an ugly one. That punt first drive parlay at +190 will probably get bet. Just because
Bring it back. I thought it was dead.
I mean, it looked like every game yesterday looked like it was just going to go over. I think the only one that was actually a punt was the Jets game, and the Jets got up to like the 40-yard line, and it was like, all right, we can't kick a field goal from 50 today because of weather. So lucked out in that one, or every other game in that Sunday slate was going to not have a first drive double punt. I think this one does it, though. I don't see DeVito driving down the field. I could see Jordan Love getting stuffed on the first drive, even though Green Bay is one of those teams that does drive well on the first drive. So if you wanted to say bet Giants punt and Green Bay scores either way with like a field goal or a touchdown, you could do that and get better odds. But I'm not going crazy on that. I maybe do one of the same game parlays like Giants or Green Bay -2.5, get it under a field goal and knock the total up into the 40s and go under. I think Jaden Reed scores a touchdown. You have Christian Watson out tonight. He gets a lot of the looks already. He's going to get even more looks tonight. And that's just the way I approach this game. Maybe even like a Jordan Love rushing prop would be how I approach this one. But the other game's way better for props. This one's kind of ugly.
JC, what do you think of the game between the Green Bay Packers and the New York Giants? Packers laying 6 on a total of 37.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I was looking yesterday at these games, and New York +6 jumped out to me. I threw a little money on it, and I was going through the numbers today, and I can't find a single good reason like why that's a good bet. So I certainly can't advise it.
That might have been one of your best breakdowns ever. I bet this game, and then I researched it, and I don't know why I bet it.
I still can't bring myself to take.
No, it's because I know you're not as old as I am, but we reflexively just take points.
We're just and also too, like I don't think
prime time, right? I mean,
yeah, I think that's part of it. Is these primetime games have been so weird, so it's like that kind of goes into effect a little bit, and especially with as good as well as Green Bay has been playing, they should be able to cover 6. But I certainly have no interest in laying 6 for Green Bay. I really like the over though. 37 seems far too low. I mean, it's not going to be a shootout or anything, but I think the Giants, DeVito's shown signs of competency. I think he can score a little bit. I don't think the Green Bay's defense is particularly strong. So I think we'll see points on both sides and should be able to get an over.
All right. Yeah, I don't really have any strong feelings on this game. For having 2 games, I think either of them are particularly compelling. The second game on the slate is the Tennessee Titans and Will Levis, who are now +13.5. I don't know what this opened at, JC, but I believe that this has been right around the number. I think it opened at 13. So
it's 13, and it's bounced. Like every time I open my sports book, I'm getting 13, 13.5, 14. Like it's constantly moving. But yeah, it opened at 13.
So obviously people with money, right, the bigger bettors are taking the points here, because otherwise this would move all the way to 15. Because I'm sure every $20 bettor and the guys that I work with, I'm not downgrading them either. They're recreational bettors. They have good they make a good living and they put $20 on a game and they want to have fun and they usually take the favorite. Why not? There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, I think the fact that this hasn't moved a lot means that there has to be at least some pushback from these recreational bettors on guys that just I guess they reflexively take the points. Or Tyler, do you think that there's a reason to take the Titans here?
No, not even like a slight reason to take the Titans.
How much would I have to give you? Plus 17? Would you take the Titans?
No.
Plus 21.5.
I'd need more than that because I don't think that the Titans score, and I think Miami's putting 30 up. So I need like 35, and I need a college spread. That's
30.5.
I'd need like 35.5.
Oh my gosh! All right, I'll take the plus 34, Tyler.
Will Levis sucks, and now he's away from home. He's bottom 5. What was the completion percentage I heard this morning? He's not good. Like he had one bright spot all year. I don't think they'll be able to run the ball with Derrick Henry. They're a pass funnel against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not a recipe to win. They stop the run up the middle well. Good luck trying to catch these track stars once they get on the outside like A-Chain and Mostert. This team demolishes bad teams. That's what Tennessee is. Yeah. Don't overthink this. Just Tyreek Hill touchdown and win. Tyreek Hill 100 yards, a touchdown and win. Lay the 13. Bet the Miami team total. If Tennessee scores first, go bet Miami again, because we've seen that happen a couple times this year where they get down a touchdown or two and all of a sudden you blink and they're up 28-14 or 21-7. So just be on Miami tonight. They're going to win this game rather easily.
All right, JC, what do you think? You ready to take the Titans here?
I got no love for Tennessee. It is scary. I mean,
you live in Tennessee. You gotta have love for Tennessee.
I have no love for anything Tennessee.
Don't let John Moran hear that. You might be the victim of a shooting.
It's Miami continues to cover these large spreads, and you figure eventually it's going to come crashing down. Monday night games are weird. I mean, like maybe but I don't know why you would fade them. Just because they continue to do this. What's crazy, Tyler, is you can no longer even take a Tyreek Hill touchdown in a win. It's minus 164. Tyreek Hill is a minus 215 to score a touchdown. Have you ever seen
such a number? 100 yards on top of it. What's that?
Well, the game's minus 904. Do you see my point?
No, sure. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, hang on, we'll get Tyler this number right here. It's just crazy, these props. And he'll probably do it, but if we throw in 100 yards, that's Waddle. Hang on. For Tyreek Hill.
As long as it gets me like minus
plus 117.
There it is right there. That's the play.
So yeah, I love it. I love Miami here. 45. I don't like that number just because it kind of implies Tennessee's going to score double digits. I don't know if that's going to happen. And that's not, it's twofold. I mean, yes, Miami's defense is incredible, but we have just not seen impressive stuff from Will Levis on the road. So I wouldn't count on them. I think Miami's team total is like 30 and a half. Just take the over there. My personal parlay, what I did Tyreek Hill touchdown. I took Miami minus 9.5 and over 39.5. A couple different ways you can kind of mess around. That's kind of what you got to do with these Dolphins games, just with these large spreads and totals where you worry about the other team scoring. By every measure, it should be a beatdown. There's no reason to think anything odd is going to happen tonight. It's cover.
Here's two they're listed under game specials on FanDuel that I like. Mm-hmm. Tyreek Hill 50 plus receiving yards in each half plus 125. I feel like that's rather easy.
That's great.
And DeAndre Hopkins and Tyreek Hill to combine for 200 plus receiving yards plus 155. How many does Hopkins really need to get us? If any, like in the end, Hopkins might have he could donut and Tyreek Hill might have like 212.
Something worth. Let me make the odds before I say this. Yeah, see, another thing too, like there's really nothing else we can get on because like Waddle's still at only plus 110 to score a touchdown, and he hasn't scored a touchdown in like 5 weeks. So it's you figure he's eventually gonna get involved, but I'm not willing to do it at that number. Like I need something more in the plus.
Here's
150 range.
one long shot out of those game specials that I think like they would have to play on the game theory. We think this plays out. Miami smashes, Tennessee scores late, just in like a garbage time touchdown. Tyreek Hill to score the first touchdown, DeAndre Hopkins to score the last touchdown, 42-1.
I'd rather have Tractor Cito for the last. No,
Yeah,
you might be right, because if it's going to be in by air, so that probably is a better look. If it's garbage time.
Yeah, I like that look.
Just get creative with the people. There's just no bad bets when it comes to Miami against crappy teams.
All right, here's this defense that you think is so great. They average 22.2 points per game. That's 20th in the league. They give up 300.2 yards per game. That's 7th in the league. Okay, you get credit there. Opponent's points per play is 0.359. That's 21st in the league. Yet their yards per play is 4.9. That's 5th in the league. The opponent's third down conversion percentage is 36.5%. That's 9th in the league. On fourth down, which is, let's throw that one out. But you're 11th in the league there. Red zone scoring, the other teams are 66.6%. That's 27th in the league. So this is a good defense, JC, but I think you overvalue it a bit.
That's cool season, isn't it?
Yes.
Now,
Okay.
if you would filter that out to the week after the London game when all the defensive guys showed back up, I bet you
can go back further than that,
I'm
Tyler.
not doing that. You can do that.
This is such hang on. This is such a box score hero take. This team has really turned around. The defense was weak in the first half. Just since Jalen Ramsey's been back, defense is averaging. They're allowing 16 points a game.
Who did they play in that time, though?
Washington, New York, Vegas, Kansas City, New England.
Okay. I think my point stands.
Okay, yeah, so still, though.
Who was a good defense in there? Good offense that they shut down? Vegas just got shut out against the Vikings at home.
Yeah. No, but it's just...
They shut down New England. Great job, guys.
The only play is put in front of you.
Okay.
Right, it's...
Well, you're telling me I'm box score watching, but
right?
then you're just saying, look at this great tape that we put up against the most ineffective offenses in the league.
I'm not making this case for them against Baltimore, right? Like, then they're still playing the Titans. So lots of holes we can poke in these stats are given, but at the end of the day, defense is on the rise. They're playing the Titans at home. And also, what are you going to do? Are you going to take the Titans? Are you going to take the Titans team total over spread?
You're right, JC. I'm having a tough time, and I'm lashing out, and I'm taking it out on you. I
appreciate that introspective.
If I had a therapist, I would go talk to him or her about it. Wouldn't that be sweet if I had like a fine-ass therapist? I'd probably go, dude. I want to get like a Melfi. Ooh.
Yeah, you could probably write that off.
What's up?
You could probably write that off.
I probably need it.
The work stress of betting the Raiders, it's so bad. I need to get a therapist.
All right. Guys, talk to me about your very best bet for tonight. Tell me, you can find one for the people, right? Tyler, do you have one ready for the people?
Tyreek, what was it? JC, Tyreek Hill, 100 yards, the touchdown, and their money line was plus 117.
It was like 114, something like that.
Yeah, that's my best bet. And then those game specials on FanDuel, I love. The 50-plus yards receiving in both halves for Tyreek Hill at plus 125, and then him and Hopkins to combine for 200-plus receiving yards at plus 160.
JC, what's your best bet for the evening?
Look, people, I don't do parlays. You know that. So when I give one out, it's going to be money. Give me Hill anytime touchdown. Give me Dolphins. FanDuel has over 29.5. Dolphins to cover plus 180.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Guys, anything else more on week 14 or the NFL in general before Tyler and I decide if we're going to do an NBA show?
I think that's pretty much it for me.
All right. Well, it was a disappointing week for me. And I won money. Tyler, I got to take my heart out of this.
Yeah.
Imagine if I was
I told you that a long time ago, Spring. You just ain't listen. You just got to get
person, Tyler.
Yeah, you got to throw us out the window. We got to bring you to the East Coast for a couple of years and just toughen you up.
I don't think I would do well on the East Coast, bro.
I
I'm
don't
so
think
like
you would either,
nice
but
and friendly.
we'll
I'd
toughen
probably
you
get
up
stopped.
eventually.
What's that?
I said I don't think you would at the start either, but eventually we would toughen you up.
Bro, if I went out there, the only thing I would try and do is get one of those half bobcat cats that you were telling me about.
Pretty sure you can get those out by you too.
I don't think so. You're the only one I've known who's ever said they exist. All right. Kirk Gray's on Yale -8 tonight. New York Jets +6. Yeah. Jonathan Nelson's victory lapping on me. I think that sums up my weekend. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Tyler and I will probably be back. What are you laughing about?
Just because the way you went, I was like, I'm getting victory lapped on by Johnny Nelson now. That sums up my week. And
yeah, he got me in every single facet of basketball. If I rooted for a hockey team, my hockey team would have lost and his would have won.
You could even like go to your secondary team either because Tomlin got stomped on Thursday.
Yeah, I know. I got multiple teams and they're still not doing good.
And couldn't even jump to the other one.
Bro, this is like, you got like a wife and 3 side chicks and you're still striking out. They're all busy. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll probably do a quick NBA show. So we'll be back in about 3 minutes.